This episode is going to be a quick run through of the steps you have to take for adding another inventory item. Since the first two were added near the beginning of this subsection, and we've added a lot of new stuff, it might feel intimidating. It's like, oh, what if I want another inventory item in my game? This is the steps you want to take to do that. So we'll be adding a bandage. So the first thing we're going to do is import our mesh. Once again, I made a very simple mesh for you to replace for your own game. You can download it in the resources tab of this episode. So let's go into content and props, meshes. I'm going to hit import. And I just have this bandage file, which you can get to from the resources tab. And I'm going to hit open. And we don't want it a skeleton mesh. Auto-generate collision is fine. Transform is fine. And create new materials is what we want here. We can hit import. And it's imported our mesh. It's just this little box thing. I didn't import my materials, so let me do that manually. Okay, I added a texture file because I didn't import it with it for some reason. So just go to textures here, and I'm gonna make, or let's go, so I'm just gonna go back to the props file. I'm gonna add a new folder for textures, open that, and I'm just gonna drag in the bandage base color, open that up, and we have the texture there. Close that again. Let's make a material for it. So props, materials, right click, material, M, bandage, and hold down T and click for a texture sample. And the texture we want is our bandage base color. And we can plug that into base color. And we can choose this box. Alright, yep, that's what we want. And we can change the roughness a bit. If we hold down 1 and click, it creates a constant. Right clicking, just type constant. For texture sample, you can also just search for texture sample. It's this one right here. And for roughness, let's just make it something high, like 0.9, so it's not very reflective. And hit save, which will also apply it. And then in our bandage static mesh here, we can add the M bandage material. Great, and we now have our bandage material all set up. So first thing to do when creating a new inventory item, go to blueprints, actors, inventory, and we have our flashlight battery here and our door key here. So we just need to duplicate one of these. You can also right click on the master and create a child blueprint class, but I think it's slightly faster just to duplicate one of these. So let's duplicate the flashlight battery. So right click, duplicate, and we'll replace flashlight battery with bandage and open it up. And now we just have to set all these parameters to our liking. So the name will be bandage. Icon, we'll have to create a new icon, so we'll come back to this. Description, we'll just say replenishes all of your health. Hope I spelled that right. Max stack amount, let's say 12, just to keep their variety. Pickup actor, we'll have to come back to this as well once we create a pickup actor. Can be used, can be examined, can be dropped, all up to you. I'm going to leave all three to true. The examination mesh, we have to change this to our bandage. Alright, our mesh offset, I'm just going to leave this at 0 for now, and I'm going to leave the rotation at 0 for now too, because we'll have to kind of gauge these once we examine it and see what looks good. So the four things we have to come back to is the icon, the pickup actor, and the examination mesh offset and rotation. So let's start with the icon. So let's save everything, and let's go into our maps and our icon map. Right here on this mesh, we have to change the static mesh to our bandage, and let's reset the rotation. All right, let's rotate it 90 on the Z. We can just right click on our camera and snap view to target to see what it looks like. Can maybe rotate it 45 degrees this way to keep that pattern of rotation, but I think for this one, I think it'll look better if we just leave it like this. So when we're still in our camera's view, we can just click here and take a high resolution screenshot. The screenshot size multiplier, I usually set it to 3. If you want it to be even higher quality, you usually don't really need any higher than this. This is already pretty high. And we want to choose use custom depth as mask. And as you can see, this is already set as render custom depth pass. This is because instead of deleting this and dragging in the new static mesh, I just replaced the static mesh parameter right here to bandage. It is still technically the door key originally, just holding the rest of the parameters that I didn't change. So when you're ready, you can just take the screenshot and you can open up where it was taken. I'm gonna rename it to bandage icon, and we're gonna open this in GIMP to resize it. So I'm gonna open GIMP, and GIMP is now open. I'm just gonna draw one, drag in the bandage, and the 3 steps we want to have here is first resize the canvas. So go to image, canvas size, change it to 512 by 512. Kind of reposition that to the center and hit resize. Then we can click on our image here and scale it. Just click on the image, and you want to scale the smaller value to 512, so the width scales accordingly. 826 is what it usually is, and hit scale. And now it's up here, and we just need to align it to the center. So choose the align tool, choose the photo just by clicking on it, and choose align horizontally and vertically, and now it's in our center. This one is a bit small though, so I can scale it back up just a bit just by dragging this corner here and scaling up to my liking, and it should scale with the correct ratios. When you're satisfied, hit scale and go back to the align it back to the center. You have to select the photo first, and that looks pretty good. Maybe a bit smaller. It's totally up to you how you'd like to adjust this. So I'll try that. Align, center, select it first, center, and that looks like a good size to me. So I'm at File, Export As, and I will choose my location, and I'll call it bandage icon and export it. Default values are fine, export, and you can close this. I'm not going to keep my changes, but you probably should. Now in content, textures, inventory, item icons, import, and we have this new bandage icon. Open it up, and we have our icon for our bandage. Alright, we can close that and save all. Now we can reopen the inventory item bandage, and we can set it from battery icon to bandage icon. And we have a new bandage icon. Next is the pickup actor. It's not the flashlight battery. Let's go to content, blueprints, actors, inventory, and pickup actors. And once again, I'm just going to duplicate one of the children instead of making a child from the master. So I'm going to just duplicate the flashlight battery. And I'll call this bandage. And I'll open it up. Open full blueprint editor, viewport, and the static mesh. I want it to be our bandage. Let's drag it out into our world, but first we need to go to maps and reopen our level 1. I'm just going to delete one of these batteries here. And content, blueprints, actors, inventory, pickup actors, throw in a bandage, put it up, and kind of see how it looks in the world. So I think the widget is a good distance above it, but remember you can also change the widget distance above mesh and the pickup distance and the amount. Change the amount to, say, 15, more than the stack size. And let's go back into our BP inventory item bandage. And now we want to change the pickup actor to the pickup actor bandage. Lastly is the examination. So we just have to pick it up and see for ourselves how it looks. And let's pick that up, open our inventory, and the icons are still saying flashlight battery and showing that. What happens when we examine? It still says flashlight battery. So why is that? Oh, of course the reason that is if we open our pickup actor, we forgot to set the rest of the variables. The item right now is set to flashlight battery. So even though it looks like the bandage, it's telling our inventory to pick up a flashlight battery. So we have to change that to the bandage, and the rest should be good. So let's try again. Play. Let's pick this up, E. And now they are bandages. We have our icon. Our stack size is 12. Since we had 15, it carried over. The name and description are to the right. Now let's click on it, and let's examine it. So first off, we want to set the default rotation to be rotated 90 degrees. And yeah, so it doesn't quite fit inside our bounds. I managed to get the corner, out. So let's bring it just a bit farther away. As you can see, the corners right here are cut off. So let's just bring it a bit farther away from the camera, and let's fix the default rotation. So in the inventory item, examination mesh offset, let's change it to 10. In the rotation, let's try 90 on the z-axis and see what that looks like. So pick it up, examine, so slightly farther away, and it starts facing us. And that looks good. I can't seem to get it to cut out, and if I did, I would just move it slightly farther away, or make the image a bit bigger. And lastly, if you want your item to be able to be used, you want to change what the use item does. Now we haven't really gone over this quite yet, but we will. We're going to change all of them. For now, we can just change the print string from used battery to used bandage. So now we compile and save. We can pick these up, we hit use, and it says used bandage. Use the battery, just to show you that they still work independent of each other. So we can continue to use them, we can examine them, and we can drop them. And it still is the same amount. I believe it was 9, I might be wrong. 9 plus 3, 12, yes, it was 9. Alright, so anytime you need to create a new inventory item, you can just easily come back to this video and quickly go through all the steps. It's not that hard. You mainly just have to create a new inventory item, create a new pickup actor, and create the icon, and set all the variables accordingly.